Episode 5, Navigating Through Adulthood. Thank you to everybody that listened to the podcast. Guys, I wanted to talk to you this week about trusting your gut. Trusting your gut. Now, for so long in my life, not a long time, but a lot of early when I got into radio years ago, people always had an opinion. And I would listen to a lot of people's opinion because I thought they knew more than I knew because they were doing things in the industry longer than I have been doing it. So I would listen to a lot of people, but that became contagious for me, right? It became contagious because once you start valuing people's opinion, when somebody has an opinion, you're like, oh, I should do what? Oh, really? So let me break something down to you guys. It was so funny. I get a text message, and I'm not dropping names, but I'll pick it up as I drop this name. My boy Rico Love, he's a excellent producer. If you don't know Rico Love, he's a singer as well. He's written songs for everybody, Beyonce, Usher, just a bunch of people. But he's more than that. He's a great dude. So he texted me today, and he sent me this picture. And this is the picture that's on my website. You can go to quincyharris.com. The picture is on the actual podcast if you're on iTunes. But he sent me this picture of me in this pink suit. And the suit, let me tell you about this time. So he says, should I post this on IG or no? So I have like a satin lime green shirt with this salmon pink suit. It's disgusting. So, and I'm naming names on this one. So my boy, I used to work for a radio station, Power 99 in Philly, and they would have an annual concert called Powerhouse. So for every radio personality, it was big. Like Powerhouse was big because that's when you would get on stage. This is like really before like Twitter and Instagram. Like this is like not the first time, but like, oh, this is what people will see you. Like, oh, that's what QDZ looks like, or that's what insert DJ, that's who they are, and that's how they look, right? So, and then plus it was a big stage. There's like 20,000 people at this concert every year. Still is. Huge concert. So my boy Darnell Jenkins, he makes suits. He's an amazing tailor. Like he would make jerseys, suits, anything you would need. Like this dude is super talented. Like he just has so much talent. So I don't know. Maybe I'll upset Darnell. I go to Darnell. He has this clothing store off of South Street in Philadelphia. And this is probably like 03, 04. And I think this is like around Outkast when they were like, hey, y'all. And he's like, Q, you know what would mess everybody up at Powerhouse? You know, because if I come out on stage and they say they'll introduce me like QDZ, it's like 20,000 people, right? So he's like, you know what will mess people up if you come out to Powerhouse? I'm like, what? Man, you gotta switch it up. You need to wear a suit. You need to kill them. You need to wear a suit, dog. But not just any kind of suit. You need to like freak it like Andre 3000, Outkast. Like you need to like do something off the wall crazy. So he goes in the back and he pulls out this pink suit. And I don't even think the suit, it was like I don't know the material of the suit. I think it was like linen. But he's like, you need to wear this shirt with this suit and you'll kill him. And now I'm looking at the suit and he gives me some glasses, all right? Like I don't even wear glasses. Like he gives me like some specs. And I'm like, it looked horrible. So he's like, no, just trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. So at the time I was on a morning show, and my morning show producer, she became like a really close friend of mine. Like we're really good friends. Like she should have been at my wedding, like as one of like my best men. Like she's really close. Her name is Sanjay DeCarries. Right. So I would like go to Sanjay about, you know, she was real like into fashion. So I sent Sanjay this picture of me in the suit. Now I'm looking super annoyed because I know I shouldn't wear the suit, but Darnell was hyping the suit. He's like, no, man, the suit's dope, man. You need to wear the suit. So I send a picture to Sanjay. I email it to her, and her being like the good friend that she is, I would have did the same thing. She sees the picture. She starts busting out laughing. She emails the picture to everybody in the radio station. And when I come back the next day, it's color copies of my picture in this suit around the whole station. I'm talking about they're in the Air studio. they're in the front office, they're on the sales side, and they're clowning me. And I'm like, yo, I told you, Sanjay, that was for me and you. Like, I wanted to show you how ridiculous I looked in this suit. And, but now it's just like a reoccurring theme. Like this picture will never go away. Like this picture is going to be like the picture, like, I don't know, like if I'm like a pastor one day, like I knew he had a pastor in him, like, or if I become, like the Tonight Show with Quincy Harris, and like somebody's going to bring up this picture. But I said that to say, for me, not trusting my gut on that situation and not just saying no, the only thing I have is an embarrassing picture that we can laugh at. And the thing is, if you don't trust your gut, if you don't trust your gut, there are going to be other situations in your life that are going to be even more serious that aren't going to be laughing matters. So you got to always trust your gut. Even if you're wrong, even if you trust your gut and your decision to trust your gut leads you to something that may be wrong, at least you made the decision, and you'll learn from that decision on your own, and you'll be a better person for yourself. But you got to stop listening to everybody, man. You got to stop listening to everybody. It's not just going to be a nasty suit that you're going to wear. Shout out to my man Darnell. Maybe the suit was in for somebody. Like, I look like a pimp. It looked disgusting, but he's a great tailor. But I should have just listened to myself and said, no, I'm not going to wear the suit. No, thank you. I didn't wear the suit to Powerhouse. Anyway, I didn't wear it to the concert. But just me putting on the suit after already knowing that I wasn't going to wear the suit and I didn't need a second opinion. Now the picture is out there forever. So I just say that to you guys, like, trust your gut on everything. If you know you're in a job and you're like, yo, I need to get out of here, man, you better get those steps together to get on out of there. If you're in a relationship, you're like, ooh, he ain't right. She ain't right. Get on out of there. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. It's so easy, but it's like so complicated. Some things that we don't deal, we just don't process. Other things we don't process, like my wife, she's in the other room. She's watching girls on her laptop. Things that we don't process, like I tell my wife, right, and I'm hard on my wife. I'm hard on my kids.
Super hard.
You gotta be, all right. You have to be. But like, the one thing that I feel like everyone deserves in life is quality, right? I think quality education. You should be able to drive a quality car. I mean, if you work for it. Me, I'm really particular with my meals. I'm not saying I'm the best cook, but I rarely make bad meals. No, is it the truth? I rarely make my meals. My food game is insane, man.
You do a good job.
No. See, a good job is like an 81 on the test. Like, I'm averaging like a 90 every time out. Like, I'm kind of like Hove of cooking. Like, when I come out,
Hove.
You
haven't taken any cooking class to be Hove.
But listen, he didn't take any cooking classes to be a rapper. I'm saying, this is the thing. I don't even watch the Food Network. I don't even have time to watch TV. All I'm saying is, I feel like every time I get into the kitchen, it's like the booth. Like, it really is. I'm not saying I'm the best cook. I'm not saying I'm like the food chasers. Shout out to my man Darnell Jenkins. He's a really good cook. I'm not even saying I'm like this Raekwon the chef. I'm not saying that. But when I go into the kitchen, my thought process is I'm going to go in and I'm cooking. Like, I rival some restaurants. Do I not?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I rival restaurants, dog. Like, sometimes I go to restaurants, and I don't want to name some restaurants because they may be a sponsor coming up. Sometimes I go to some like really good restaurants. I'm like, I could have made this better. I'm not a mass cook. Like, some people are like mass production cooks. Like, oh, I'm cooking for like 20 people.
But
it's not
like,
that.
It's like their kale. It's not like their
no
meal.
No. Then what? Stop. We had some lackluster meal for Thanksgiving. I was super upset about.
That wasn't from a restaurant.
Yeah, it was from your family. We'll talk about that later. But my wife made this meal today that, how can I say this? It could have been better. Okay? If it was a test, I didn't even taste it. It just, the look of it looked, if it was a test, it was a 69. 68. It was a 68 on a out of a scale to 100. Now I don't. First of all,
You didn't even taste it. Can you taste
you can look at, you can smell it. I smelled it. It smelled bad. Like, I'm like, what is this? And what was it? Was like shrimp and mushrooms, and it was just glob. It was a glob of crap. Now, growing up, I love.
It was a little overcooked.
Whatever. It was overcooked, undercooked, too much. It was just mush. Growing up, my mom, she I'm trying to say this nice. She was a good cook, but sometimes like work would get in the way of her. Like, she, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would get to that was her last piece of work for the day, was like our meals. So sometimes it would be like some things just like, okay, here y'all go. And I never want to make, here y'all go with any meals. So let me break it down. My wife made some, I don't know, some shrimp stuff. And it just smells bad. And I told my wife, I said, listen, this is what you need to do. Every time you have to go hard in the paint with everything. You have to go hard in the paint with everything. You got to go hard in the paint with the shrimp. I said, you got to saute the shrimp, pan-sear the shrimp with the olive oil, with the extra virgin olive oil, okay? Like it's Benihana, right? And then you got to come over here, and then you got to like saute the zucchini. It was too many juices mixed up. I don't think like mash it. I don't like. Some people like baked chicken. I don't like baked chicken. I think baked chicken is like, it's too soggy for me. I don't like soggy food. I don't like peas. There has to be a better way to make peas. You know what I'm saying? Like there. What else do I don't like? I don't like gravy. Like I don't like a lot of gravy. I don't like a lot of. I'm one of those guys. I don't like when I have a plate of food. I don't like the juice from one piece of food to touch my other piece of food. That's disgusting to me. Remember we went to that restaurant? We went to some restaurant and don't say weirdo. Come on, dog. We can see who's not in media. It was we went to this breakfast place, and I looked at my wife. The juice. This one I was eating chicken. This is how long ago it was. The juice from the chicken touched my waffles. The chicken and waffles. And it was just that wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. Hold on, this is Nay. Hey, Nay, let me call you right back. I'm recording an episode of Navigating Through Adulthood right now. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna put you on speaker. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to everybody, Nay.
What's up, world?
Okay, that's my guy Napoleon.
The man Q.
That's my guy Nay. All right, I'm gonna call you right back. All right. That's my guy Napoleon. I'm gonna tell you about him in a second. But yeah, I don't like when the sauces touch other pieces of food. I think that's an invasion of privacy. You can't let the juices of the food touch another piece of food. That's how anal I am. You cannot do that. I already told y'all I only get my salmon from Whole Foods. Atlantic salmon from Whole Foods.
Well, I was multitasking.
And here's another thing you do. Let me tell you, when my wife goes to the supermarket, this is navigating through adulthood. These are the nuances that you have to deal with when you're in a relationship with somebody and it's past the infatuation phase, as John Legend would say. My wife thinks she's slick. I only get my salmon from Whole Foods. She'll go to a lesser supermarket and slip in salmon from another place, and I can taste the difference. It just doesn't taste the same. You can taste the difference. Like, this is my thing, guys. Why are we faking it? I never want to have stuff with anything. It's like, why? If you have to pay an extra $1 per pound more for an amazing piece of salmon, why not do it? Why would you give your kids?
Because you're trying to maximize your time.
That's the thing. But see, that's the thing. Everything.
So if you're at one store, you're gonna try to get as many things from that one store that you possibly can before heading back home.
But then what happens is at the end, and this is the thing about life, guys, at the end, shortcuts hurt you, because then you're at home, your kids don't want to eat the food because they know the difference between Whole Food salmon and the other store salmon. Now you got to cook them, make them something else, and you wasted time when you could have just went to the extra store and got what you really wanted. And this is life. This is just like life. You cannot, no shortcuts. You see what I'm saying, people? If you take shortcuts on the salmon, if you take shortcuts on the shrimp, if you allow the juice from your chicken to touch your waffle, you will allow success not happening in your life. That's how passionate I feel. Listen, and then my wife will get mad, like, yo, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna we are total opposites when it comes to like cleaning or whatever. Like, I can't go to sleep with the dishes in the sink. No, you just did. You just did. And I'm proud of you. Congratulations. But the thing is,
they know I'm washing dishes because they heard me.
No, dog. This is, I think every time I hop on this joint, you be like, oh, let me wash dishes so it make it seem like I'm washing dishes. No, the thing is, right? The things that you do it's not really about that. So I get mad because I feel like if you have respect for yourself and you won't take shortcuts in any part of your life. And that's how connected things are. So if you go and you won't get Palmolive, but you go get some BS dish detergent, like how can you not get Palmolive? It creates more suds and it cleans more dishes than anything. You cannot shortcut it. You got to get Palmolive. This is how passionate I am, guys. Like, seriously, you have to get Palmolive. They need to cut a check. You have to get Palmolive. You cannot half step on your life, because if you half step on Palmolive, now you got oily cups. I don't respect. Another thing my wife will do, she'll wash the cups with the greasy pan. No, fam.
No, I don't do that.
Yo.
I don't.
All right, but listen, guys. We're not gonna have this conversation here. But all I'm saying is, guys, it's about shortcuts and lackluster meals. Lackluster meals can turn into a lackluster life. Okay, so I got to tell you guys, I've been motivated by two things this week. One thing I just discovered. Shout out to my former intern, and another thing I like to keep younger people around me that have like this kind of energy to go get it, because I know a lot of people like my age. Sometimes they tend to have that. They tend to like give up on life. When we talked about that last week. Shout out to my man Napoleon, my boy Napoleon that just called on the phone. This dude is a pilot, so I talked to him, and I don't get to travel as much because of family and work and just like a demanding schedule. But I call him, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm in Peru. Oh man, I'm in Brazil. Oh man," and he'll see different things in his life, so he'll get like a different appreciation or just inspiration for life weekly. So I like to talk to people that inspire me, and Napoleon's one of those people. Number two, my young boy Blake. Shout out to Blake Lynch and Etienne Maurice. These dudes, they went to Drexel. Etienne is still in Drexel, and Blake just graduated. So I texted him on a group chat, and I was like, what's like something new that's inspiring y'all? Like, I need to hear some new music, something. And Blake sends me some link of this kid that goes to Westchester University. His name is Tunji Ige. Tunji, Tunjiige. I just discovered this kid. I think he's from North Philly. I didn't even know he's from Philly when I first heard his songs. But he has his mixtape out, I think like The Love Movement or something like that. Look him up, like fresh. And this kid is just like, he's in his dorm room at Westchester University. He's making these songs. He reminds me of Kid Cudi, but he's really, really good. So I was inspired by that this week. Another thing Blake put me onto was this series on YouTube called Noisy. And what Noisy is this guy. It's really funny because it's the contrast. It's this like suburban white kid or guy, and he's in Atlanta. He's in these different places, and he's doing like these mini documentaries on YouTube on like the hip hop scene. Like he did one on Atlanta. He did one on like Gucci Man versus Jeezy. He did one on Migos. But they are this is like, watching Noisy, it reminds me of like Banging in Little Rock, like the documentaries that used to come on HBO. Like they're that good, but they're about like hip hop scenes and different things, but really good. So Noisy, and some of y'all like, man, Q, you just getting on Noisy? Like I said, anything that inspires you, let me know, because I like to always just get inspired. So I like to tell you guys. So Noisy, Noisy, on YouTube. Check that video. Check that page out. And Tunji, if you're into hip hop, Tunji IG. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but super dope. Yeah, I was really inspired by those guys this week. Another thing I was inspired by this week, I had an opportunity to interview Black Thought of the Roots, and we did some stuff for Fox 29. He has this grassroots organization, and they're raising money for the school in Germantown. He's from Germantown. I never knew that. I thought he was just from South Philly, but he graduated from Germantown High School. I graduated from Lincoln, which is a part of Germantown. If you wanted to play sports, you had to go to Germantown to play sports at my high school. So it was connected. It was like an annex school. But I didn't know he went to Germantown. So I go to Black Thought's house. This is my first time like doing like a face-to-face interview with Black Thought, which is shocking. We've done stuff over the phone. So I'm at his house, and like, can I tell you what really got me hype about Black Thought's house? It was his, like, he's a chef. Like, he really cooks. He's a really good cook. Like, I want people to brag about my food. Like, I hear people brag about Black Thought's food. But I was so impressed with his pan selection. The selection of pans in this man's house, very impressive. I was very impressed. And I think somebody like my wife that's listening to me right now, she can't respect that because she does lackluster meals. You feel what I'm saying? What you said? What? What did I say? No. When I meant the selection of not the collection, like how he picked those pans out. These aren't pans you get from Target like that come in a box for like $6 no. These pans were they were so detailed. These were some very, you were a cook if you got those pans. It's like almost like if you make bad food. Other people that make bad food, they know that your food is bad. Like, oh, yo, she gets it. Like, she gets the bad food. Like, y'all must have and I'm not gonna lie. My wife, she makes good food when she cooks. But I do a lot of cooking in the house, and I guess we need to get her back on the cooking. But no, Black Thought's his pots. I was really looking at his pots and his stove. I was like, ooh, yeah, we gotta step our stove game up. It's coming. Our stove is cool, but we gotta step it up. But these are the things that excite me. These are the things that motivate me, guys. So I promise this. I will get Black Thought on this show, and we got to talk about his food selection. I don't even want to talk about music. I want to talk about his extensive pot and pan selection, and what like his favorite meal is. And he's probably going to have to cook it for me. And to all my cooks out there, we're like, what's the one meal that you make that's amazing? I want to know. Hit me up, Instagram, allmediaq. Hit me up, QuincyHarris.com. Guys, spread the word about the podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on SoundCloud. It's on QuincyHarris.com. Follow me, allmediaq, Twitter, Instagram. Thank you for listening to episode 5 of Navigating Through Adulthood. I'll see you guys next week.